Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Bhavna Joshi and I will be taking the subject Creating an Inclusive School. This subject is in your fourth semester with the code 218. So let's start. So today we will be studying about the inclusive education, its meaning and scope. This topic is in your unit 1. This is the first topic. So let's start. So it is very important to know that exactly what is inclusive education. So this definition was given by NCSNET 1997, South Africa. This definition says that inclusive education is defined as a learning environment that promotes full personal, academic, and professional development. So here we are dealing with an education system which caters to the personal growth of the child, the academic growth of the child, and the professional growth of the child. So, inclusive education aims at creating a learning environment through which the personal, academic, and professional development of a child will take place. So, irrespective of the race, class, color, gender, disability, sexual preference, learning style, and language. So, this definition, according to this definition, inclusive education is no matter what, from which background a child comes from, which race, which class, color, gender, or any kind of disability or special sexual preference or different learning style or any language the child is coming from. Inclusive education always promotes the learning environment that will caters to the full personal, academic, and professional development of the child. So, what exactly is inclusive education? Inclusive education is about the need of the society. Whatever it is the in current scenario, it is the need of the society. It is much needed. Now we can, when we have the aim of education for all, we cannot do discrimination between students, that we will not take this specific child into our school only because the child is having specific disability or is from a different financial background. So inclusion is about the need of the whole community, whole society. It is the need of the hour. Then inclusion is about understanding your school community, how your school community works and how it should work. Then inclusive education is about valuing everyone, no matter from which background the child is coming from which financial class the child is coming from whatever disability the child is suffering from. Every individual is valued in the inclusive education. Then inclusion is about celebrating the diversity as well as the individuality. Inclusion says that every individual is unique. No two individuals are alike. Every individual is unique, and we should, as a teacher, should celebrate this diversity. Then inclusion is about valuing the other culture. In a school, the students are coming from a varied culture. So it is very important to value other culture. Then knowing and understanding the need of all people is very important. Then inclusion is reflecting on your practice. See, as a teacher, whenever you go to a class, whenever you come after taking the class, when you come back, you reflect like what I taught in the class. Was it satisfactory? It is your evaluation, it is your reflection when you say that, I did this right and I could have done this thing more efficiently. So inclusion is about reflecting on your practices. Whatever as a teacher, as a school, we are following the practices we are following. It is this reflection. This inclusion is a reflection of all those practices. The next, inclusion is everybody's responsibility. Yes, it is everybody's responsibility. It is not that inclusion is the sole responsibility of a teacher. but it is the responsibility of the parent also. It is the responsibility of the school administration also. It is the responsibility of the government also, because the government is the one who will make the policies, will make the rules, and will direct the schools to adhere to these policies. So it is everybody's responsibility. It is not the responsibility of one person or a two person. Then inclusion is about providing flexible learning. You know, inclusion is about the learning environment which we are given to the student is flexible as per the need of the child. We make changes in our learning strategies, teaching strategies. We make changes in our methods which we are using in the class. So inclusion is about providing the flexible learning environment to the child, that whatever the child is wants to read or write, he or she can do it. Then inclusion is more than just a policy. Yes, it is more than just a policy. Inclusion will not be able to flourish, will not be successful unless and until we take it very seriously and not take it as a policy. When we take it as a policy, it is just a rule for us that we have to obey, that we have to adhere to it. But when we take it, when we see inclusion as that it is the need of the hour, it is the need of the society, this is very much needed for our students, then at that case, we will say that inclusion is more than just a policy. Then inclusion is changing the way things are organized so that they suit people need. Yes, inclusion is not something, which will, when we say to the students that, you don't have to change, we as schools and teachers will change as per your need. That is inclusion. So inclusion is the changing the way the things are organized. It is as per the need of the child. If the child is physically challenged, then as a school administrator, we will, build that ramp. We will have, an environment in which the child is able to move freely, will not have that problem. So inclusion is about changing the way things are organized. So the child will not change as per the school, but in inclusion, the school will change as per the need of the child. So this is about inclusion. Now, when we talk about the barriers to learning in inclusion, there are three barriers. Removing barriers to learning, that is changing the school rather than the child. The first and important thing which we have to keep in mind, that in inclusion, we are not changing the child. The school has to change. The child will not change. The child will not change his needs. Whatever he needed. So the school has to change as per the need of the child. So inclusion, the three barriers are environmental barrier, the structural barrier, and the attitudinal barrier. The environmental barrier is the environment which we are giving to the child who is coming from, a different caste, color, creed, or is having a particular disability. So that is the environment which we are giving to the child. Next is the structural changes. Structural changes is related to the infrastructure and whatever facilities which we are giving to the child. Then the last barrier is the attitudinal barrier. That is what kind of attitude do we have for the child? Is it a negative attitude or is it a positive attitude? Whether the teacher is having a positive attitude or a negative attitude towards these specific children, whether the peer group is having a positive attitude or a negative attitude towards these kind of children. So these are the barriers, which are barriers to the learning, which are barriers to the inclusion, which we have to overcome. Next is, it is very important to note these two lines. It will summarize inclusion, as inclusion is a process through which we discover our similarities rather than our differences. Here I am repeating that we are not discussing about our differences. We are not elaborating our differences. What we are discovering is we are discovering about our similarities. We are focusing on our strength, not on the weaknesses. We are not focusing on the weakness of the child, that okay, this child is not able to see because the child is visually challenged, but we are focusing on the strength. If the child is not able to see, there must be some other thing in which the child is good. So that is the strength of the child. So we are focusing on the strength. Then inclusion does not reflect a place where special education is provided. See, for special education, we have special schools. But inclusion is not a place where we are providing that special education to the child. What we are providing is, we are providing a way of thinking about the future of the child. How the child should lead his life, how the child should think, how the child should deal with the society, that we are teaching to the children in inclusive schools. So this is the extract which I took from NCERT National Curriculum Framework 2005. It depicts the situation which is there in our country related to inclusive education. This is the reason why the inclusive education come into picture. So it says that the education system does not function in isolation from the society of which it is a part. We all know that our education system cannot work in isolation. We cannot, our education, our school are a part of the society. So the education system cannot work in isolation. It has to work with the society. Hierarchies of caste, economic status, gender relation, cultural diversity, as well as the uneven economic development that characterize Indian society are also deeply influenced access to education and participation of the children in school. So what is the problem in our society is the hierarchy of the caste system, the economic status, the gender differences, the cultural diversity, the uneven economic development, which divides our society into different groups. So all these things, somewhere or else affect our education system. How it influence how a child will be able to access our education system. All these things, like for example, if the child is from a low economic status, then automatically we will say that it will be very difficult for him to access the education system in a very well-renowned school. So all these things which I just said, all of them somewhere or else influence the access to education. So this is reflected in the sharp diversities between the different social and economic groups, which are seen in school enrollment and completion rate. So all these factors leads to what? Leads to the difference in the access to the education. So this is reflected in the disparities between different social as well as the economic group. So thus girls belonging to SC and ST category communities among the rural and urban poor and the disadvantaged section of religious and other ethnic minority are educationally most vulnerable. So the National Curriculum Framework says all these things obviously caters to the, have an impact on the access to the education. But on the other hand, the group which is, which is most affected by this is the girls, that too who are belonging to SC and ST community, that too who are belonging to the rural areas or the disadvantaged sections of religious and ethnic minorities who are educationally most vulnerable. So the every individual is affected, but the most affected group of the society at the when this inclusive education was proposed was the girls who were from the SC/ST category, whereas that too living in the rural areas or in the disadvantaged section of the religious and other ethnic minority. This was the situation in 2005. That is why this inclusive education come into picture, and a strong decision was taken to make it a compulsory practice for every school to be an inclusive school. So this is the scope of the inclusive education. Like when we talk about this scope, it means that who all children are included in this inclusive education. Every type of children, like working children, children with disability, children in remote tribal areas, girls living in difficult situation, children who are suffering from AIDS, HIV, or other chronic illness, children of migrant laborers, street children, child laborers. Every type of child is included in this inclusive education. So I hope you all understood about the meaning of inclusive education. What is it about? What is inclusion? And what were the circumstances? Why this inclusive education come into being? And the scope of the inclusive education. Thank you very much.